Hello, everybody. It is me, Kevin, with the Chord Progression Podcast, a My Song of the Day Rock 2000 to Today podcast. And yeah, you know how this rolls if you've been, a listener over the past 3 episodes. But if you're not, welcome to the show for the first time. I'm glad to have you here. My name's Kevin. I run all this stuff. A little bit of how the show goes. So I'll just talk about some stuff going on in music, rock music from the years 2000 to today. Hence the My Song of the Day Rock 2000 to Today partnership, connection, whatever you feel like calling it. I really don't give a shit. If you're returning, thanks for returning, guys. I mean, I'm dead serious. Thank you for returning. That means so much to me that you guys are repeat listeners. And I'm happy that you guys are. I really am happy that the fact that I've got repeat listeners because it's awesome. Couple of shameless plugs before I really get into the show. The show is brought to you by, My Song of the Day, Rock 2008, because that's who we are. So if you want to check us out, we have our Facebook page where we just kind of just post, whatever your song of the day is. Twitter will do the exact same thing, but we will connect with you guys in a more personal way where you can just tweet at us and we'll tweet right back at you. Instagram, of course, is our biggest platform right now. So if you want to check us out there, it's at Rock 2000 to Today, the number 2000 2TO today. And that's same for Instagram, same for Twitter. Instagram, we always put some fun stuff out there, ask you guys questions, just have good concert videos from concerts we went to, which I will be talking about later on in the show. And we also will have a good amount of fun stuff on there as well for you. So normally how the show goes is I will end up looking at stuff, stuff that's happened in rock and metal that has happened in the past couple of weeks. Or last week, I should say, And then if I've done anything, related to music, if I've been to a concert, if there's a new album, I'll talk about that stuff as well. And not only that, but I will have guests on here as well. Unfortunately, this is the second straight week where I will not have a guest. So out of the 4 shows I've done, I've only had one guest, and that was our friend Evie. And that was a fun one, so I want to get back on that as well. So next week, I'm going to see if I can get, what's her name? Shoot. I believe her name is Maddie because she sent me a thing about I Prevail coming out with a new album on Friday. Or their album Trauma, I should say. So I want to talk to her about the album as well. Plus, I'll be doing my review on YouTube as well. Don't forget, we also have a YouTube channel as well. My Song of the Day, Rock 2000 Today. Most importantly, we have an Alexa skill, which this is all based off of. So I will have everything, link-wise. You can check it out. Link-wise, it's everywhere on all of our stuff. So just go give us a good old check out right there. If you want to be on the show, go to our website, My Song of the Day, Rock 2000 Today. Find the Chord Progression Podcast tab, and then fill out the little questionnaire at the bottom. It'll go straight to my email, and I'll look at it. And if you want to be on there, I'll be like, hey, let's get you on the show. And just talk about, music, life. Honestly, whatever the hell you want to talk about, as long as we start out with music in some capacity, that's all that matters to me. I really don't care how else it goes because I love just seeing where the conversation goes with the fans. And I want to thank all the fans out there because it's great. Alrighty then. Well, as Jim Carrey would say, alright, or I'm going to do my Jim Carrey, Matthew McConaughey mix. Alrighty then. So let's get on into it. So the big news that we talked about last week that was going on was, of course, what was going on with Chris Fehn and Slipknot. And so to keep you up to speed on what's been going on, just if you're, didn't listen to last week's podcast, or if you're not caught up in general, Chris Fehn, the Pinocchio mask-looking guy in Slipknot, is one of the percussionists, was suing the band for basically saying that instead of having all the money from their merch, their touring, and everything go through one company and distributed evenly, other band members have set up other companies in other states to distribute that money to themselves, and he's not getting his fair share. So he wants an entire freaking audit. I mean, open the books, just check it all out, see what's going on, and figure out, if he's getting his money or not, or if he's getting properly paid or not. This is a huge issue. And then last Monday, we found that Slipknot put out a statement saying, you're no longer part of the band kind of thing, that Chris is no longer part of the band. So that's basically what's happened here. So over the course of the past week, what we've seen is what has gone on about what the lawsuit contains. So looking at it, and this is according to our friends at loudwire.com, because I mean they got a lot of good stuff on this one. Honestly, they're kind of in the forefront after the blast.com put out the initial. So basically they're saying that the documents have come out that Chris Fehn has alleged that money was hidden from him, thus him not being properly paid his actual due. Again, it makes sense. So the documents name the following as defendants. I mean, I'm not going to list like Slipknot Incorporated. There's got another like Not Merch, SK Productions LLC. It's just got like 6 or 7 different companies, different entities that are in multiple different states like New York, Delaware, California. No Iowa. I'm actually kind of surprised at that. Well, Delaware is one of the states that doesn't have sales tax, so it doesn't make sense. They have an entity built in Delaware. That's for all you just, business-minded folks or economics-minded folks. But if you're not interested in that, well, Delaware doesn't have any sales tax, so cool. They're also saying that he's also put Sean Cran, Corey Taylor, and Robert Shore on there as well as kind of the people he's going off on. And the suit is for damages and equitable relief, so he's just trying to basically get the money that he is believing that he is due. He's just trying to get his money, honestly, in all this. And I know I said last week that in the end, I think Slipknot's going to end up coming out in front of this because, especially with their new album coming out, and yes, this has been put all over the place in all these articles, the 6th album coming out on August 9th, that this is something that's really interesting coming down the pipeline. And I think that Slipknot, again, is still going to get away with a lot of, or not necessarily away with all of it. I think it's just going to be completely forgotten. I think the band is going to come out of this much better than Chris Fehn is going to, because a lot of the fans are going to be behind the band on this, specifically because they're coming out with a new album, in my opinion. But again, that's just what I think. We do have a tweet from Corey Taylor here from March 8th. You think that Dick has tried being wrongfully accused of stealing money from someone you cared about and having a lot of fans believe it. Good morning, by the way. So that was from last Monday. So there's a lot of people that are going off on this. They're trying to figure it out. Other things that we found out about this case, apparently Chris Fenn's lawyer is saying he's still employed by the band. Now, this is where I'm starting to really get out of this, because now the lawyers are kind of coming in and saying, hey, Chris is still a part of the band. He's never been fired, even though Slipknot made a statement saying that he is no longer a part of the band, and he knows why he's no longer a part of the band, which is just really kind of grinds your gears in a sense. Mostly because of the fact that we've seen this happen a lot of times within, I'm going to say politics. Just, you get lawyers come on like, oh, we're trying to make a name for ourselves. They're going to kind of put certain things on blast, kind of like, I think this might be one of those pieces where he's saying, oh, they're still employed by Slipknot. He hasn't been kicked out of the band, even though on Monday, March 18th, the band put out online saying that he was, kicked out of the band. So this is just a whole bunch of a mess right now. It's an always ever evolving situation, just because this is dealing with Slipknot. And again, I still think Slipknot's going to end up coming out of this one on top over Chris Fehn. And I think Chris Fenn's going to end up being the one that's kind of left in the back, left in the dust. Mostly because of the fact that I think the fans are going to really get into Slipknot more than they're going to be behind Chris Fehn. Which, I mean, that's just the way I see it. If you guys see it any way differently, let me know, just because I'm very curious to talk about this. If you want to be on the podcast and talk about this, send me email, kevin@mysongoftheday.com. That's my email. You can send it right there. Or you can go to our website, mysongoftheday.com, go to the chord progression tab. It's under the My Song of the Day Rock 2000 Today tab. So then fill out the little questionnaire form down there. Hit the submit button. It's going to come straight to me, and I'll be glad to talk to you about this, because I am curious to see what a much more hardcore Slipknot fan has to say about this, because I'm not that big of a Slipknot guy. Or if anyone used to be a huge Slipknot fan, I would love to hear from you, mostly because I don't know a lot about Slipknot as much as other people do. I just don't. It's one thing that is not going to really get into as much as other people did, mostly because when it came down to that mid-2000s, what metal bands do you like? It was kind of like people went off in 3 different directions. One group went off with the Avenged Sevenfold group, one group went off with Slipknot, and another group went off with Disturbed, and I was part of that Disturbed group because, of course I was. Disturbed is the freaking bomb. Speaking of Disturbed, so I know I talked about this 2 weeks ago on the podcast that I got to see him for the first time live on the Evolution Tour on their last stop in the United States in Chicago, Illinois. Well, folks, yesterday, I don't want to, say, oh, this is where you should go, but yeah, the second leg happened. It's coming out. It came out yesterday even. So I want you to go check it out because I'm definitely going to try and make one of those shows as well. I don't know which one yet, though. That's the problem. Mostly because of the fact that I don't know what, like, when it comes to a time constraint, where I'm going to be, where I'm going to be, where the hell am I going to be living? Am I still be living here in Milwaukee, or am I going to be somewhere else? Shit, I could be in Minneapolis. Shit, I could be out in, I could be in Chicago. I could be in Cincinnati. I don't know. I'm kind of open to whatever at the moment, so just kind of letting the wind go through my sails. So I don't know what I'm going to go with yet. Plus, I'm going to try and get VIP tickets because, well, I kind of want to meet the band really badly. And I really want to meet the band badly because that's just one thing I want to do. Don't let a kid's dreams get crushed. So that's basically with that. But, friends, I did go to a concert last Thursday in Milwaukee at the rave, and I have to talk about because I've got a couple of ridiculous stories. And on top of that, I got to talk about each band's performance as well, mostly because of the fact that, yeah, I got to be honest with them. There's some bands, when you're playing live, yeah, you may have put on a great show. Some bands you may put on a kind of a crappy show. I'm not going to lie. It's better to be honest than it is to say, oh, you had a great show, guys. Even if you guys, you went out there, just stood out there, played, never addressed the crowd, and then went off. But if you want to do that, that's okay. I mean, Seether did that to me back in October or November when I saw them. They just came out there, played, went off. That was it. And I was like, oh. There was really no crowd interaction. I mean, I don't want to have the band just continually talking with the crowd or messing with the crowd. It's like, oh, and all of a sudden 5 minutes go by, you're not playing a song, but you just acknowledge the crowd that they're there. That's one thing that really kind of grinds my gears. So this is where I'm going to jump into this. So the 3 bands I saw last Thursday, I saw Underoath, Skillet, and Breaking Benjamin in that order. There's a band called Fight the Fury that started out first, but I completely missed their set, mostly because of the fact that, yes, I do have a full-time job that I have to deal with as well. So going from my full-time job back home, and I don't want to miss the gym because, well, that's just me. So I went to the gym instead. And, well, but that's basically work for me anyway, so, whoo! So I was working my ass off, and then all of a sudden, I get home and quickly run over to the Rave Eagles Club because, well, that's where the concert was, so I wanted to get over there. When I got in, Fight the Fury had just ended their set, and I was going to try and meet up with one of the fans of the page there. I know I mentioned her last week on the podcast, see if I could get her on the podcast, but problem was I never really found her. Well, actually, I did kind of find her, but I couldn't get up to her, and then she had to leave at one point, so it just didn't work out in the cards this time, but there will be a time where I'll get to meet this fan, and we will have her on the podcast as well. But I'll go through, kind of that whole entire story as we continue on. So, I'm on the right side of the stage. I'm there for, and Underoath comes on. I'm like, okay, let's see what we got from Underoath. They came out with the 2 songs I thought they were going to start out with, which was Overt and Rapture, which were both off of their latest album. Now I'm like, these are some high energy songs, high intensity. So let's see what they can do with it. And I was really disappointed in it because the band was was bringing the energy within the song because the song warrants bringing an intensity to it, but they just couldn't get the crowd going. The crowd just was not feeling them, and as I looked around, there were a lot of people in Breaking Benjamin shirts, but it was split half between Breaking Benjamin and Skillet with how everyone was looking. I mean, there were a lot of Skillet fans there as well, clearly, because Skillet has a huge following, I'm not going to lie. But when it came to Underoath, it was, I think, a lot of the older fans or the really young kids, they wanted to see Skillet or Breaking Benjamin. And they were just slogging through Underoath. And it showed. It showed in Underoath's performance as well because they just couldn't get the crowd going. It took them a while. And Underoath didn't play that long of a set. I think they maybe played a half hour, maybe a 40-minute set. They did not play long. Maybe it was only a half hour. But then again, they went on. They went on around 7:35, 7:40. And Skillet was scheduled to go on at 8:30, so in order just to do a quick teardown, they already had Skillet's drum set set up, so we had that going for us. But outside of that, I mean, they had a lot of trouble getting everyone going. So that's one thing that we're having. I was like, oh, that's kind of wacky. But yeah, what are you going to do about it? I mean, that's just what's happening. However, as towards the end of the towards the actual end of the whole entire Underoath show, just as specific for Underoath now, I can't remember. I don't know the lead singer's name, but he was calling out that he wanted to get a circle pit going right in front of the stage. Now, I'm on the right side of the stage, but he wanted it right smack dab in the middle. And I'm just like, oh, okay, here we go. I'm a fan of this. And I'm like, okay, I got to get my way over there right now. I mean, I got to book my ass there right now. Otherwise, I am screwed. So as I'm trying to get over there, there's one guy that just starts bolting right past me, trying to get to the middle, and I literally grabbed onto the back of his shirt. He had one of the like denim vests on. I forgot what band it was. It might have been the Lamb. Yeah, it was Lamb of God. And I grabbed onto the back of him. He looked at me. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm just like, "I'm following you to the pit." I wanted to get to the pit because where the fan from the Instagram page was gonna be was she was up front and center with her son, and I was in the middle, but I was way on the right side of the stage. So I'm like, this will get me close up. This will get me right to the middle where I need to be, and up to the front, but it won't get me on the rail where I need to be. But that's when I jumped. That's when I got, and all of a sudden the pit started going, and I jumped into it. 3 seconds later, I don't have shoes on. I am being dead serious, folks. I lost my shoes in the pit. I normally keep my shoes kind of loose just because that's how I like to wear them. But when I got thrown into the pit, my shoes just completely fell off. I'm like, what the fuck? This is bad. Mostly because I'm in a freaking mosh pit. Someone steps on my bare foot. I'm done. Like, I'm breaking my foot. I'm done. So I'm working my hardest just to try and find my shoes within the pit while getting bounced around left and right. And I see them both. Like, I see both my shoes. I'm like, okay, I got to grab both, but I can't fall down because otherwise I'm going to get trampled even though someone tries to pick me up because, rules of the pit. You get knocked down, whoever's around you that's up, pick him right the fuck back up again. And I grabbed a shoe. I grabbed my left shoe, but I couldn't find my right one. I'm like, shit, I thought I had in my hand. As I look up, all of a sudden, there's my right shoe flying in the air. And I had this moment of, shit, I lost my shoe. That thing took flight and went I don't know where. And now I look like a total dumbass because I've got my left shoe on and my right shoe is completely off and I've got a white sock. I'm like, oh, this sucks. So for the next 10 minutes, I was kind of on the edge of the pit trying to push people in because, let's be honest, what the hell am I actually supposed to do in that situation? I'm stuck. I am completely and utterly stuck. All of a sudden, Underoath's playing their last song. Unfortunately, it was not a what was it? God, what's they're probably their most famous one. I can't think of it off the top of my head, which is really gonna piss me off right now. I gotta find it. I know I got it picked as one of the. I know I got it picked as one of my new ones, actually. So, let me see if I can find it. Or not my new ones, one of my songs of the day coming up soon. Let's see if I can find it. Underoath. Oh shit, this kind of thing. A Boy Brushed Red Living in Black and White. That was the one I was hoping they were going to play, and they just didn't. And man, did it really just grind my gears because I wanted to hear that song. So then, all of a sudden, song's about to end, mosh pit's going, I'm in the middle of it, and I'm still shoeless. Well, I'm like the peg leg pirate. I mean, I got one freaking shoe on. It looks like I'm hobbling all over the place. Next thing I notice, guy next to me who I was talking to about this stuff with him and his friends, dude gets hit in the face with something. And I thought this guy was going to freak the fuck out because he got hit in the face with something that was flying. Guys, he got hit in the face with my right shoe. Someone threw my shoe from wherever it was back into the pit. It hit him in the face. He picked it up and looked at me. He said, "Hey, buddy, I found your shoe." Oh, my God. Oh, was I happy. Mostly because of the fact that I didn't have to walk a couple of blocks out of there without a shoe. Especially because it was like, by the time I left, I think it was like 39, maybe 40 degrees outside. Fahrenheit, that is, because we're in the United States. Yeah, so I got my shoe back. And they hadn't gotten like completely eviscerated yet in the pit because I hadn't gotten knocked down yet and my foot wasn't broken. I'm like, okay, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. Underoath goes off, and now I'm just happy I have two shoes again. It takes about 15 minutes before Skillet comes on. And Skillet starts out with Feel Invincible, and they brought the energy right from the get-go. But you could tell that there was something, going on, because you look at the drummer and I'm like, the drummer's a dude. So I was not aware of what was going on with Jen Ledger at this point up until after the song, because I just wasn't aware what was going on. I didn't really recognize what was going on, but all of a sudden the mosh pit was going, and I was trying to also get forward to think I thought I found the fan, but I couldn't get to her because every time I tried going forward, I got thrown right into the pit again. I'm just like, shit. So I'm like, okay, just keep trying to do that. But there was something, you could tell someone was off because, like, I'm like, well, for me at least, because I was expecting to see Jen Ledger playing drums, but I was not aware that she was on the, what tour was it? Was it the Winter Jam tour? Yeah, Winter Jam 2019. And so she's out doing that, and they had a drummer from I can't remember what band it was. The Dude could play, though. Dude could play. He would use the back end of his drumsticks, not the normal end, because he just wanted to get stronger strikes on there. He broke a good amount of them. And I can't remember who the woman was that they had performing the vocals in Jen Ledger's place, but she did a good job. I think her name was like Lizzie something, or I think so. If you guys want to know who it is, check out their Instagram page, because I know they've been putting a lot about that as well. But I mean, it was something that was interesting because I wasn't expecting. I wanted to see how the band would perform, especially, minus Jen Ledger, who is, in my opinion, the second most important member of that band behind John Cooper. Also because John Cooper, when he's up there, he brings the intensity with his movements, with his vocals. He brings it. And that was a high energy show. I also met one of my friends, or the male guy that works for the company I work at full time. Him and his friend came to the show, and they found me right before Skillet started. They found me in the pit. And his friend told me, hey, he needs to pop his man cherry. I'm just like, I didn't know Phil was still a virgin. She's like, yeah, he's never been thrown in the mosh pit before. I'm like, oh, okay. Mostly because, it's like, oh, good. Because now I can actually do something about it. So, Feel Invincible comes on, and I throw him into the frickin' pit. I had to, folks. I couldn't resist. The kid's never been in the pit before. Yeah, he's a little bit of a smaller guy. I think he's like 5'3", 5'4". And kid could hold his own. The kid held his own in the pit, and I am more than happy about that because, man, was he, for a small guy, not being in the pit, man, was he just flying in there. But he took a couple of hits, took a couple of licks, and he was okay the next day when I saw him and talked to him about it. Continuing on with the show, Skillet was just high intensity throughout the whole entire thing, and the people were loving it. They had the crowd eating out of the palm of their hand. If I posted a video from the show on our Instagram page, on our My Song of the Day Rock 2008 Instagram page, because they played one of the new songs that's coming off of their upcoming album this year. I believe it was called Rise Up. Now I listened to the song, and it's a high intensity song. Similar, it's got that high intensity feel that Feel Invincible had, that The Resistance has, and that Not Gonna Die is gonna have. So if you're looking for, thinking, okay, what's Slipknot or what's Skillet gonna come with in their next upcoming album? What's it gonna be like? When Rise Up comes out, because I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the first single off that album. That's not me questioning it. That's just me speculating about it because I'm pretty sure that's the way it's gonna end up going. But it works. I mean, it was a good song to really get people into the game. actually more into the concert as a song that no one's ever heard yet. I mean, I know they started playing it before, like when their tour started at the beginning of last week with Underoath and Breaking Benjamin. But they played, but it was well worth it to listen to. Watching again John Cooper's movements up there it kind of made me reminisce a little bit about Jacoby Shaddix of Papa Roach, and I saw Papa Roach live in 2017. Just how you can't keep your eyes off of him. Just how erratic the movements are, how insane they are, and it's something to behold, to be honest with you. It is really something to behold. So if you haven't seen a Skillet show, you might want to go just to check out how John Cooper plays or performs, because it's just freaking ridiculous. And it was something I was actually enjoying. It was better than what Jacoby Shaddix do, because Jacoby Shaddix, I look at him when he performs, I kind of get more of a comedic kind of style to it, where it's kind of like he's trying to do what a rock star do, but in his own way. But it's kind of like a parody in a sense. I do like it though. I think it is enjoyable to watch. But watching John Cooper play, because he was getting so erratic during some songs, and he still sounded good. He was getting incredibly erratic with Monster. Monster, he went absolutely ape crazy. Not Gonna Die, he went ape crazy. But when it was time to just really play, they fit it in very well, especially with songs like Comatose and Sick of It. They really did a good job with it. Would I go see Skillet again? Yeah, I still want to go see Skillet again. And next time, hopefully, I know Jen Ledger will be back, so next time I want to see him with Jen Ledger playing drums, because that just sounds like it'd be fun. And then after that, everyone's getting psyched for Breaking Benjamin. I'm waiting to see what Breaking Benjamin comes in with. I've told everyone, I'm like, they're going to start with Red Cold River, because that is a great song to start with, because it starts out slow and it gets everyone into it. Plus, it is more it can kind of mesh between that high intensity that Skillet had. It can create a bridge there. Now, the crowd actually started thinning out at this point. I think a lot of the reason was because I found a lot of people that were Skillet fans that had their kids with them. And I'm talking kids, anywhere between the ages of 6 to like 12 that were there with their parents. There were other, younger people there as well, but they were not with their parents, so that kind of took it away from it. But a lot of those little kids were Skillet fans, and after Skillet, they kind of skedaddled. And that was naturally, at this point, our fan who was at the show, her son and her were up on the rail, and after Skillet, her son wanted to get off the rail because, it's in close quarters. I get it. It's in close quarters. And it was getting to be close to like 10 o'clock at this point, and unfortunately wasn't able to meet her, so we'll figure that out sometime later on, how we can make that work. We'll see what happens, though. I mean, I'm going to end up meeting this fan at one point, for sure. I've already got it on the docket, on the calendario, something like that. But then that's when Breaking Benjamin came on. They came on around 10 o'clock. Now, they start out with Red Cold River, like I called, and I know I posted the video on our Instagram page where during the chorus when Ben Burnley screams, "Run! Run!" Yeah, I can't get that Ben Burnley voice because it's ridiculous how he does that. But the whole crowd was just screaming it, eating out of the palm of his hand. And at this point, that's when all the crowd surfing really got going. It did get going during Skillet, but my God, were we just sending people up left and right. And it was great to be in the middle of that, because did I go crowd surfing? No, absolutely not. Why? Because I had no one to hold onto my wallet, my phone, and my keys. Otherwise, I probably would have done it, because I know at the rate what they do is you go crowd surfing. I know it's at least, if you go once, they'll bring you down and they'll send you out to the side, but you can go back and watch the show. They're not going to stop you. Second time, I know we had one guy that we sent up twice and he ended up getting back. The third time, he didn't go up a third time, because I think pretty much if they saw him come a third time, he'd get kicked out. But I had no one to hold my stuff. I didn't want anyone stealing my phone. Well, it's because that's how I run most of this stuff off of during the day when I'm not on my computer. I didn't want to lose my wallet. That's my wallet. It's got my money in there. Why do I want to lose that? I didn't want to lose my keys, because how the hell else would I get the hell home? But I digress. But we were still moshing a little bit in there. As Breaking Benjamin was playing after Red Cold River, Ben saw a kid that was actually on the rail. He kind of looked like he was getting squished up on the rail as well. It was about a 7 or 8 year old kid. And he called it out. Now, this isn't the first time I've seen Ben Burnley call out where kids were kind of in the middle of a bad situation in a show. The first time I saw him, there was a fight that was going on right before the end of the set. and he called it out, and instead of, because there were little kids around, and he just brought the kids up to the stage. There were about 5 or 6 of them that he brought up. This time he saw a kid with his mom that were the kid was kind of pushed up against the rail. He called it out, and he basically asked the kid, do you want to come up and watch the whole entire show on stage? So the kid was brought up on stage with his mother. That was something that was, this kid's never going to forget that. He got all sorts of cool shit. So one thing I will say with Breaking Benjamin is Ben Burnley loves kids. And he is if you got kids and they like rock music, take them to a Breaking Benjamin show because they might actually get up on stage. Ben Burnley's great with that kind of stuff. Outside of that, when it came down to the total amount of energy that was being put in there, I think it kind of was a little bit underwhelming. But that's not on what Breaking Benjamin's performance that was, because they really put on a good show. It was after the high intensity and high energy that Skillet had, and Breaking Benjamin has more of a somber tone when it comes to their music. It's kind of tough to follow something like that. It's not a knock on Breaking Benjamin in any way. It's when you had to follow the high intensity of Skillet and how crazy John Cooper was. Yeah, it's gonna be tough to kind of replicate the fans' energy at that given point, especially when it's a Thursday night. People have to go to work in the morning, like myself, and you're like trying to get into it, but you kind of got spent when it came down to Skillet. But there were a couple of really cool things that happened during that Breaking Benjamin show. Ben Burnley is a huge Star Wars fan. So they decided to do a couple of covers. The first thing is they wheel out this little kind of drum kit, it's not a full drum kit, it's like just a quick makeshift one. And it had all these spikes coming out of it. But they weren't spikes. They were lightsabers. They had Kylo Ren's lightsaber on there, it was all red, and they had a bunch of just the regular old Darth Vader ones that you'd see. And they played the Imperial March. Now, I was not expecting this at all in any sort of the way, but it was something that was insanely cool to watch and to just listen to, because they put on a good instrumental show when it came to the Imperial March. But the show, just Ben Burnley up front with all of those lightsabers and the drum kit just smashing on it, and you just hear the Imperial March, you're just thinking, this is great. Afterwards, they did a couple other covers too. They did a quick cover of "Smells Like Teen Spirit," and the mosh pit got going once again. That was the one of the covers that I think they did the best job at, just because they really got the crowd back into it. Then they played the fourth part of Bohemian Rhapsody. So this is after the operatic part, and Ben Burnley's voice actually nailed it pretty well, in my opinion. I thought he did a great job doing Bohemian Rhapsody. Well, not the post-operatic part. So you think you can stop me, spin my eye. Yeah, I can't sing. So if you guys probably just cut it off right then and there, I am sorry. But that's just what happens. I can't sing worth a damn. I just can't. As the show went on, it was just, still somber. The crowd started thinning out a little bit more just because it started getting late. Thankfully, Breaking Benjamin did go on until 11:30. They came back, and of course, if you're going to if it's Breaking Benjamin, if they're going to end the show, what song did you think they were going to end it on? The survey says. Well, do you guys know what song they ended the show on? Well, if you don't, it's Diary of Jane. What other song would they end it on? Come on. Get your shit together. But at this point, this is where, when I was talking about how with the kids, this is what I was talking about with Ben Burnley really loving kids at shows. He was bringing up as many little kids as he could that were at the show on the stage to watch, to be on stage for the last song of the day or last song of the set and listen to the Diary of Jane. And they went freaking hard on it, and that was something to behold. And overall, it was a good show. Would I see Underoath again? I don't know. Mostly because if I were going to go see Underoath again, the biggest problem would be is I would want to see them where they're the headliner and people are going to the show to see Underoath. Because I want to see how the big Underoath fans kind of react to it. Would I go see Skillet again? Absolutely. And I want to see Jen Ledger play the drums. Absolutely, I would go see Skillet again. Would I go see Breaking Benjamin again? Well, I saw them do an acoustic set once or an unplugged set once. I saw them headline a show. And would I go see them? Well, I've seen them twice already, so would I go see them a third time? Yeah, I totally would. So, yeah, I totally would go see them again. Yeah. So that kind of was my experience when it came to the Underoath Skillet Breaking Benjamin concert. Couldn't find a fan. Skillet played with a lot of energy. Ben Burnley loves kids. Underoath kind of disappointing, and I lost my shoes for 10 minutes. Full disclosure, I have my shoes. I still have them. However, it would have been one hell of a story to walk out of there with one shoe on and say, I can't find the other. What happened? Well, it fell off in the mosh pit, and then it got thrown through the crowd, and I have no idea where the hell it is. However, it was all good stuff, though. Let's see what else is going on there. If you guys are in the Milwaukee, Southeastern Wisconsin, just kind of that area and follow music festivals, Summerfest is coming up next in 3 months. And they're starting to announce some of the big headliners for the show. Now, for those of you who don't know how Summerfest necessarily works, let me give you the quick rundown. So Summerfest is a music festival in Milwaukee. We do it for 11 days. Yeah, 11 full frickin' days. And they always take one day off. It's always that first Monday in July, usually. Yeah, usually that first Monday in July because, they used to do where it started on a Thursday. So they go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that's 4 days. And they go the whole next week. So they go 7 days. Well, what they did was they took out the one Monday during the week and moved it to, and then just completely took it out because it was their lowest day. They moved it to a Wednesday. They moved it to a Wednesday. So it starts Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, off Monday, then Tuesday through Sunday. So kind of get a nice little breakup in there, but it's a 11-day music festival. Now they bring in all kinds of musical acts because we've got multiple different stages. They have these shows that are at the amphitheater. I believe it's called the American Family Insurance Amphitheater now. Those ones you have to pay for a general admission ticket to get in, and last time general admission was like $15 maybe. They may have upped it to $20. I don't know. And if you want to go see these shows at the amphitheater, you got to pay more. And recently, I don't think it's been announced yet, but it's about to be. Or if it has, well, because I heard about this on Sunday from one of the guys I always am lifting with at the gym. There's a show at the amphitheater from somebody who hasn't been in Milwaukee for a super long time. And can you guess who it is? Think metal. And think the father of metal. Think the Prince of Darkness, folks. It's Ozzy Osbourne. He's going to be playing at Summerfest. I mean, they've also got some other ones like the Zac Brown Band and like country acts that are coming, and they got some pop acts that are coming. But I'm looking for like the rock and metal shows that are going on because, of course, that's what I want to listen to. That's what I want to see. However, if there are a bunch of other bands that always play during those days, but they're on what we have as the side stages. So there are about, I'm trying to think because there's the B-Mode, the Briggs and Stratton one, the Harley stage, the Miller stage. They have the U-Line stage, the U.S. Cellular stage. Am I at 6 or 7? I'm either at 6 or 7. So they've got like 7 they got 7 big stages where at the end of the night they'll always have a headliner there that if you had a general admission ticket, yeah, you can go see those for free. That's how I saw Rise Against for the first time. That's how I saw Hollywood Undead for the first and second and third time. Actually, that's how I saw Rise Against for the first time, second time, and fourth time? Yeah, I've seen it like 3 times there. But it's all been, I have not had to pay like a premium for it just because the fact of the matter was I got to see them play live on a free stage. Sure, the first time I went there, I had to sit out there since at like 2 in the afternoon just to make sure I got a good seat. The second time I saw them, I met my friends out there because I had to work. The third time I went out there, I met a bunch of friends at someone's house, and we had a great time. That was one of the best concerts I've ever been to because there was other things that happened during happened as a result during that concert, which basically shaped the rest of my 2016, which was awesome. But I digress. So that's kind of how the Summerfest works. And it's a fun time. You can see a lot of crazy shit down there too. You'll always see, the high schoolers trying to say, "Oh, can you buy us some beer?" It's like, I don't want to pay. I'm not going to buy you $8 beers. Screw that shit. Why would I? I've been getting asked that a lot more lately since when I've been going there, and I just am like, no, just get the hell out of here. Please leave. But I'm looking forward to seeing what the actual lineup for the ground stages or the side stages or free stages have to offer, just because I want to see who's going to be there. I want to see who they come up with, even though, I'm probably going to end up not getting any sleep anytime I go to one of those shows because I'm a working man. But if Shinedown comes back again, will I be seeing them? Hell yeah, but Shinedown was just here Shinedown was just here on March 8th. Shit, I've got no clue who the hell would even be at Summerfest. Hopefully I get to see Rise Against at Summerfest again, even though I'm seeing them in April, but they're doing a Ghost Note Symphony thing. So I'm curious to see how that goes. But that's kind of what I'm looking forward to with Summerfest news, because hopefully that'll come out sometime during the week. So maybe next week's podcast I can have a look at that. I mean, of course, there are other musical festivals that are going on around me. Rockfest, Rock USA. There's wherever Chicago's doing. I can't remember what Chicago's doing in May. Yeah, in May. But that one's got a good lineup. It's got System of a Down in it. And then there's also, the ones that people always know about, like, oh, let's go to Lollapalooza. I'm like, hell no, I don't want to go see frickin' Halsey. Screw that. I'm going to go see Motionless in White, bitches. Woo! Yeah. I just went, woo! Woo, 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 woo. And I sound like Mario. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, that was bad. Sorry, folks. That's just me being me. As wacky as I can be. Alrighty, outside of that, I don't have a guest on the show today, so that's going to necessarily be it for me. Thanks for listening to the Chord Progression Podcast, a My Song a Day Rock 2000 to Today podcast, where we just talk about all things rock music. Yeah, rock, woo! And if I busted your ears on that one, I'm kind of not really sorry on that. That was actually just kind of funny. So also, if you're not following us on any of our social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, enable our Alexa skill, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you're going to want to do all that because we put a great experience out there and create a great community to talk rock music with. Come stop by our Instagram page every single Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central Time, so 10 o'clock Eastern Time for all you New Yorkers, Philadelphia's, Boston, Washington, D.C., East Coasters. Or 7 p.m. for everyone out on the West Coast. So if you're California dreaming or, you're sitting in Oregon or something. So join us on Wednesdays for our live stream because we put on, basically I just go on there. You guys ask me questions, I answer them, and just have a good time with them. Or we just go in and start talking about crazy, wacky stuff. However the conversation goes, I just let it flow. But I'd love to talk to you guys about rock music. Rock music, metal, whatever we want to talk about. Next week's podcast, we've got I Prevail coming out with Trauma on Friday. So I'll be checking out that whole entire album pretty much all Friday. And then I'm going to hope to call our friend Maddie from our Instagram page because she's the one that told me that I Prevail was coming out with a new album. And I want to talk to her about it. I want to talk to her about it because I'm curious to see what she has to say about it and talk to her about some of her other favorite bands like Beartooth because Beartooth is good. Had the best album in 2018. You got to talk about them. Are you kidding me? That's kind of where we're going with that. So, woo! Also, hopefully the Summerfest lineup is out at that point so I can either go through it and sing its praises like I was doing in 2011, 2012, or I can eviscerate it like I have the past couple of years because they're going way too freaking country, folks. They're going absolutely country and pop, and I can't stand it. But then again, I get the reason why you're bringing the kids in the door with the pop. You're driving up the attendance for the event because you're bringing more pop and hip hop acts. Yeah, that's what the kids are going to want to go listen to. So they're going to come. I totally get it. And then they're going to want to bring in country acts because the country fans will spend the money on everything. And yeah, I totally get it too. It makes sense from a business perspective. However, can we just get back to some rock music there, folks? I really do. So, Don Smiley, I'm looking at you. Also, if you guys want to take a look at this podcast called MKE From Above, their third episode, yours truly, me, was on it. And I just basically talked about the journey of building this Alexa skill, building the whole My Song of the Day Rock 2000 Day project, the community around it, and on top of that, the starting of the podcast as well, because that was right as I was about to get going on the podcast, which was fun as hell. Yeah, so I have to be musical at some point, right? I guess, maybe not. If you guys don't like me being musical, then just tell me because, well, I'm not musical. I got a horrible voice for it. It's just not good. Not good. Horrible. So yeah, that's actually going to be it for me on this one. So I'm going to want to say thank you guys for listening to the Chord Progression Podcast, My Song of the Day Rock 2000 to Today podcast, because I had fun. Next week, we'll talk to some people, have a good time. We'll take a look at I Prevail's new album, and, well, it's a Tuesday. Hope you guys had an okay Monday. Hope you guys have a great rest of the week. Just keep on rocking, and, well, you know how I end all my stuff. It's always the same way. I'm going to end it with a dun, 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 dun. See ya!